Praise the mighty Yah. Welcome back to the house of Yehudah. I am Minister Michael Israel, and it is my pleasure and my honor to bring up our next speaker for the third portion of today's Sabbath services here at the house of Yehudah. And I'm speaking of none other than my elder and also my teacher as well, Elder Minister Yemuel Yisrael. Let us rise as the elder makes his way to the podium. Praise Yah. Hallelujah. Hallelujah.
Shalom. Let me see if the lessons that I done heard so far today, both of them were extremely needed. And they were, I hope, received well by those who needed to hear. Sometimes we don't always hear what we want to hear, but hopefully we hear what we need to hear. That's what counts for those of us that want to be on the right track with the Almighty Yah. Today, I generally lead up to what that lesson is about. But today I want to speak some on faith and obedience, rebellion, and trust. Because I believe collectively our faith is weak. And I'm talking about collectively, not individually. As a nation, I believe that as a nation, we're not obedient. And if we're not obedient, then obviously we're rebellious. And we're rebellious because we just don't trust that the Almighty is one of His word. We think we done got away with some things. But I've tried to explain it several times. We're going to get our punishment in the self-same day. It's just that we don't understand time. And like it was stated earlier, time is the one commodity we just don't have enough of because of our rebellion, because of our disobedience. Time was taken away from us. Justifiably so. Justifiably so. I have what I call a go-to song. I love all the songs, but I have one in particular that I go to quite often. If you know me, you know where I'm going. Somebody in this room, tell me where I'm going.
Psalm 37.
Psalm 5.
Bam, bam. But you're right, I do love Psalm 37 too. Well, let's go to Psalms 5 because, again, Psalms 5 makes me consider. I can't speak for anybody else, but it makes me self-evaluate. See, so while we collectively so busy pointing the finger at somebody else for their flaws, what about our own? So I like to acknowledge self so that I can correct self. How can I be somewhat of a good leader if I don't acknowledge that I need to be right? Because I'm always saying the best teacher is what? Example. I'm going to tell somebody else to do right when I'm corrupt. And it's obvious that I'm corrupt because you see my wicked actions. Psalms 5. This song is so deep to me because so many ways to be a fool. As the great Maureen Lisha used to say, you can't miss them all. And I believe that we all, from time to time, play the fool. But we don't have to play the fool all the time. If we go be foolish, let's not be foolish about when it comes to serving Yah and understanding that Yah is not joking with us just because he keeps extending that mercy. Because most of us, if not all of us, don't deserve it. And we have to be right in the sight of the Almighty Yah in order to be honest and admit it that we don't deserve it. Because most of us, we allow our presumptuous sins to take hold on us often. But we point the finger at somebody else often. Talking about somebody else's wickedness often. As if we got it all together. In the book of Psalms, the 5th chapter, it starts out to read, "Give in my words, O Yah. Consider my meditation." Let's stop there. Let's stop there. Are all of your meditations, like I have to ask myself, are all of my meditations righteous meditations? Do I ever have a wicked meditation? Even if it's but for a moment. And if I do have a wicked meditation, what do I do? What do you do? Do you entertain that meditation? Or do you try to get it up out of your head real quick? Like Scripture might say, when you get a wicked thought, what do you do? Cover that mouth. That's right. Or do we think we're above everybody else? Give in my words, oh y'all, consider my meditation. Don't worry, we don't even have to ask him to do it. Well, he gonna know. He gonna know if we wicked. He gonna know if we just faking the funk. And I'm gonna get some definitions while I'm up here too. So for those that might be listening, just prepare yourself something to write with and some paper, because I want to give us some definitions. Consider my meditation. Hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my Elohim. That's only for those who recognize Yah being our King and our Elohim. It's not for those who just say, well, Yah, I heard of this Yah. You know, I say I serve Yah, but I'm really not a true servant, because a true servant serves and I'm not serving. So in other words, I'm saying this is not for everybody. When they say hearken unto the voice of my cry, my King and my Elohim. For unto thee will I pray. I got to announce it with a lot of Hebrew Israelites. They claim to be Hebrew Israelites, but they worship and serve the Christ of the New Testament. Yah's not in the picture. And when it comes to what we're talking about earlier, living your best life, that's not talking about because you worship in Christ. I can't live my best life if Yah is not included, first and foremost, because I understand where my blessings come from. My voice shall down here in the morning, oh Yah, in the morning, I'll direct my prayer unto thee. And we'll look up. Everything we've learned thus far, we didn't learn wrong. Y'all know that? And the person that's in charge, they're the ones who write history. So everything that we think we know, once we start doing research, we'll be finding out, damn, that was a lie too. Damn, that was a lie too. Man, just about everything that we thought we knew as we get older and wiser, keyword being wiser, we'll realize that, wait a minute, mostly everything that I thought I knew, I didn't know. So now I got to be re-taught. Now, who's the best teacher? Yeah. But who is he going to teach? To make those that he know is going to look when he tap you on the shoulder and say, listen there, son, listen there, daughter, I got something for you. Everybody don't get that tap. That's right. Y'all know everybody don't get that tap. And everybody's not going to be as receptive. See, some things that might be what we might call basic and say, John said, well, everybody knows that. Guess what? Everybody don't know that. Some people might think that we as Hebrew Israelites, we're a cult. Some people might think that because some just always smoke and say, oh yeah, ain't you one of them, y'all just smoke weed a lot, right? Some people, regardless of what their worship is, might do that. But does that depict that a whole people or entire congregation does that? Not at all. Not at all. I'll direct my prayer to thee and will look up, for thou art not an Elohim that has pleasure in wickedness, neither shall evil dwell with thee. How many of us think evil sometimes? How many of us might do something evil sometimes? But then we have to check ourselves and say that, man, let me straighten up. Because see, I can say something and not realize that I might be saying the wrong thing at the wrong time to the wrong person and to be taken wrong. We just have to be wise, that's all. Wisdom is a defense. Money is a defense too when we don't use wisdom. And sometimes we can still use wisdom and still need that money to be a defense. So in order to get that money, we still need to be blessed by the true and living creator of heaven and earth. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. The foolish ain't gonna stand in whose sight? Huh? Are we thinking that y'all gonna have a bunch of fools just hanging around? Because I'm under the impression, that's just me personally, that if y'all just walk in the area, fools from I don't know how far around might just disintegrate. That's just my way of thinking. I know everybody don't think like me. But I wouldn't want to be a fool and y'all's coming through when I had plenty of opportunity not to be that fool. If someone was trying to give me the understanding I need to have in order to make my relationship right with y'all, and I turned my ear from hearing it and said, that's for you, that ain't for me. Maybe I'll get back to that, but right now I got to get this money. Y'all know I need this money right now. And then he just happened to come through and I just melt. Ain't about getting no money, I just melt. See, before ice was, it was water, wasn't it? It just melted. Let me read that 5th verse again. The foolish shall not stand in thy sight. Y'all hate this. All workers of iniquity. So when we have somebody talking about you can't keep the Sabbath day, the law's been done away with. All of that foolishness. How you gonna have a holy convocation? How you gonna keep the Sabbath day? Where's your sacrifice? We've heard all kinds of foolishness. The Sabbath day starts at night. Hell, a day starts at night. How do a day start in the middle of the night? I understand. We didn't allow this man to take precedence over the Almighty. That's what it sounds like to me. That we've allowed man to dictate his rules, his laws. And we said, well, you know what? Well, if this man said it, it must be true. I can see this man. I don't see y'all. I only hear y'all talking about it. How foolish of a people can we be? But let me say this before I go any farther. I'm going to finish with this song and we're going to move on. I've been saying this for a long time. Some of y'all might remember. People are the sum total of their life experiences. Think about what I'm saying. People are the sum total of their life experience. Let me give you an example. Say me and this brother, we was raised up in the same house. And we went through some of the same things. But the things that we go through might affect him differently than it affects me, or vice versa. Because I might go through some hard times. It might make me just a hard person. Where this brother might have went through the same hard time and it made him more compassionate. You see what I'm saying? We can be brought up in the same situations, but it's how an individual is going to deal with it. Either they're going to be made better from it, or either they're going to allow that to dictate who they become. People are the sum total of their life experiences. Think about what I'm saying. That makes sense to anybody? Pretty much makes sense. We didn't explain. Somebody in here just explained to me what I just said, because that's deep. Because it helps me to understand people. Yes, sir.
Yeah, everything that you a person go through from their youth to the point of age that they are currently at is part of them. You know, whether it be good or bad, it's part of their makeup. But the thing is, we have to that individual, that person can't let that bad define them. You see.
Keep going. Go with it. Go with it. Because, see, I like to make sure, at least I try to do my best in making sure that the message that I deliver don't leave any doubt in somebody's mind.
Right.
But that's on point. That's on point. Because, like I said, you can have people that come from the same house with the same parents and experience some of the same situations. But those individuals be different. Again, the foolish shall not stand in our sight. Y'all hate all workers of iniquity. Y'all shall destroy them that speak leasing. Y'all will abhor the bloody and the deceitful man. Why is it that bloody, deceitful people just don't understand that the same energy that they put out, whether it be you or me, is the same energy we're going to get back, only sevenfold, 7 times greater. We don't understand that. We tend to think because I've been doing this evil for so long and ain't nothing happened yet, that we think we didn't escape the wrath of Yah. So here's the thing that we need to understand. Yah will give us the opportunity to correct ourselves. But in our foolishness, we decline to correct ourselves. But you better believe that bump that we get on our head, that's Yah trying to get our attention, because whom he loves, he correct. But some of us, we fear that chastisement. And some of us don't. Those who fear that chastisement, when some occurrence happen, if we're wise, we're going to do what the average person ain't going to do. We're going to consider. And we should consider, what did I do, or whether that I didn't do, that this has fallen on me. Because in most cases, it's either going to be a test or punishment. A test or punishment. See, Job was tested, but the Almighty already knew his integrity. He knew he was going to pass. He knew that. Satan just didn't know that. And I've heard so many people talk about, like you were talking about earlier, Satan and the Almighty fight. That's nonsense. Satan is one of his best servants. You know why? Because he does what he's supposed to do. And you don't never have to worry about overreach with Satan. But people want to talk about him. But if we compare Satan to self, who will come out on top? My righteousness or Satan? Because Satan do what he's supposed to do. Who will come out on top? Food for thought. See, we always pointing the finger, aren't we? But we don't never do like this and say, man, I'm responsible for all this foolishness that's been happening to me. I'm the one who caused it. I always want to blame somebody else for faults. Thou shalt destroy them and speak leasing. Yah will abhor the bloody and deceitful man. But as for me, I'll come into thy house in the multitude of your mercy, Yah. And in your fear will I worship towards your holy temple. Lead me, O Yah, in your righteousness because of mine enemies. Make thy way straight before my face. For there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. How many of us know somebody that's always flattering, but you know they can't wait to stab you with that knife that they got in their hand behind your back? Now, when we say we know somebody, how many of us have been in that same situation where we was the one with the knife behind somebody else's back? See, it worked both ways. It worked both ways. We ain't got time to be pointing fingers. I got another saying. I say talkers too busy talking instead of doing, whereas somebody that's doing, they ain't got all that time to be talking because they're too busy doing. But we got to ask ourselves, what are we doing? Are we doing righteousness? Or are we doing wickedness? I just love to try to even put myself in a situation where I have to check myself. You know, I'm not saying I want to get out there and be vile or anything. I just love to check myself. Because when you think that you're on track, and then you evaluate yourself at the end of the day, at the end of the week, however you do, and you find that you came up short in your own opinion of checking yourself, what do you do about it? Do you try to at least correct it? Do you make any appropriate changes or changes that you deem to be appropriate to have a better relationship with your Creator? Or do you just look at it and say, okay, that's just me. That's just who I am. I would like to think that a person will evaluate themselves because they want to be made better. But that's not always the case. Some people might be evaluating themselves to see if they've done enough evil that day or that week. There are people that actually can't go to sleep unless they done figured out a way to bring somebody down. Now, some people might think that's just nonsense. Why do you think a wicked person is wicked? Wicked person is wicked because they're practicing evil. And like I said before, a lot of our faults aren't secret faults. Sure, do we have some secret faults? Of course. But most of them, in my opinion, are presumptuous sins. Meaning we know what we're doing. Let me start again in verse 8. Lead me, O Yah, in your righteousness because of mine enemies. Make your way straight before my face, for there is no faithfulness in their mouth. Their inward part is very wickedness. Their throat is an open sepulchre. They flatter with their tongue. Destroy thou them, O Yah. Let them fall by their own counsels. Cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. Now, if we're going to think that, we better make sure our hands are clean, because we're talking about ourselves in some cases. While we point the finger at somebody else, we're talking about self. Yah hates a liar. We want to tell on somebody else. We want to point the finger at somebody else, but we don't take that remedy and confess our own transgressions. You was talking about, I believe it was you, talking about being perfect earlier today. I could commit, I don't want to put the number too big, but let me get it here. I commit 50 sins. And the Almighty can still consider me to be perfect. Now, what am I talking about? Some people are like, man, he's lying. Wait a minute. Let me give you an example. Say if I was a liar, and then I found out that y'all don't like lying. So I quit lying. I ain't lying no more. I acknowledge it. I confess it. I turn from it. I don't go that way again. Y'all said he ain't going to remember that. But then later on, I become a thief. I thought it was just okay. But I find out, wait a minute. Yeah, I don't like that. So I stop stealing. I confess it. I turn from it. I don't go that way again. Y'all say he ain't going to mention it. Y'all understand what I'm saying? See, y'all, he's the judge. But when I'm talking about acknowledging it, confessing it, turning from it and don't go that way again, that means I ain't stealing no more. I ain't lying no more. I ain't coveting no more. And it goes on and on. And that's how a person becomes made better because they understand. Some of them we just don't even consider, let alone understand. You ever heard somebody, I'm sure, well, I would think that most of us did heard, ain't nobody perfect.
But Christ.
Yeah, with all the flaws on his head. But ain't nobody perfect. See how we were brought up learning lies. Didn't I, y'all, talk about people that were perfect in that generation?
That's right.
Verse 10 again, I'm going to get to this thing, but I just, sometimes it just stopped me because we got to discuss some things, Verse 10, destroy thou them, O Yah, let them fall by their own counsels, cast them out in the multitude of their transgressions, for they have rebelled against thee. They've rebelled against you, Yah. That could be me, that's rebelling, and probably still is, because I'm not going to claim that I'm perfect. And if I'm imperfect, that means I done did something out of order. And if I do ever be made perfect, let Yah deem it, because I sure won't. See, I didn't learn some things when I used to declare my own righteousness. How many of y'all righteous and the hands go up? I realized how big a fool I was. But a person only going to realize that they've been a fool when they really start to search matters out. When they really take it to heart. When they fear Yah. And they know Yah don't like a liar. Don't like a lot of other things too. But I think lying is one of our biggest downfalls. Just one of them. Because boy, oh boy, I bet we got a toolbox full of them. But let all those that put their trust in you, Yah, let them rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy because thou defendest them. You defend them, Yah. How many times? I can't even count the times that Yah done defended me. I can't count the times. I can't even count the times that he defended me and I didn't know I needed defending. You know what I said? I didn't even know that I needed defending. Check that out. This gets so deep. So deep. So deep. Again, but let all those that put their trust in you, Yah, let them rejoice. Let them ever shout for joy because you defended them. Let them also that love your name be joyful in you. For you, Yah, will bless the righteous. With favor will you compass them as with a shield. This is better than Blue Cross, Blue Shield, umbrellas, anything you can put to try to protect yourself, hide behind a concrete wall or anything. When Yah got you, he got you. Think about what I'm saying.
Praise Yah.
Think about what I'm saying.
Hallelujah.
People can do all kinds of stuff. All kinds of things. But when you right with Yah, like I say, that verse that says no weapon is formed against you shall prosper, that's not for everybody. That's not even for all of Israel. That's for Yah's elect. You have to ask yourself, are you part of the elect? Am I part of the elect? I can only hope so. I'm striving to get there if I'm not. I can only hope that we all are, but I know that would be a foolish mindset to believe that all Israel is striving to try and be right. Are there any comments about any verse that I just read there? Keep in mind, I said people are the sum total of their life experiences. Either it's going to make them want to be better, or they're going to succumb to the bad parts, and it's going to make them worse. Yeah. No ifs, ands, and buts about it. I understand when I'm reading passages through the scriptures, where those words say, be strong and of good courage. Be strong and very courageous. I understand that. Walking with Yah is not always going to be an easy choice, especially when you're surrounded by foolish people. When we're surrounded by foolish people, and some of those foolish people, guess what? We call them our friends, our close associates, our family members. We don't want to be outcasted. We don't want to think that we just weird, we just strange. But weren't we commanded to be peculiar? To be separate? You know, in the law, it states for us to be holy. I don't think we understand how deep this law is. We want to be like everybody else. We want to gravitate so we can be into that old woven mingled fabric. We don't like being peculiar. We don't want nobody looking at us like we the oddballs. I don't care if somebody look at me like I'm the oddball, as long as the Almighty find favor in me. That's what's more important to me. I'm a loner, if you want to call it, anyway. Most of the time, anybody who know me know if you see me by myself, or you see me with my family. I ain't got a gang of people. If you see me out with one or two other people, you probably won't see me with two different people at the same time. I'm comfortable. I really am. I'm comfortable. I'm comfortable being at home. I learned a long time ago, ain't nothing out there but trouble. Ain't nothing out there but trouble. Then after hours, there really ain't nothing out there but trouble. You know, it's a shame. That's most likely still people that's my age, that's still out there pulling up their pants, got their keys in their hand, and still going to the club. If they do, that's them. I ain't got nothing to do with that. I ain't got nothing at all to do with it. But I would say, for me, it would seem kind of odd for me, at my age, if I'm still pulling up my pants, going out there like I'm doing something, jangling my keys, all up in the club. And I'm talking about people who regularly do this, you know what I'm saying?
Yes.
I ain't talking about for a special occasion or a special event or something like that. I ain't knocking that. Let's go to Leviticus, the 26th chapter, if you will. Were there any comments or questions about this Psalm 5 in any regard? Leviticus 26. Just want to read something. Let's go to the 38th verse. I think I'm going to read down to about, maybe about 45. Leviticus 26, verse 38 starts to read, and ye shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemies shall eat you up. That's deep, ain't it?
Mm.
And you shall perish among the heathens. What's the heathen?
Don't know Yah.
Not acknowledging Yah. Do we have a lot of Israelite heathens? Would that be a heathen, somebody who say they know Yah, that they serve Yah, but their actions dictate something completely different that even you can see and I can see, whether it be you or me? Is Yah gonna say that's my servant? If I'm just vile, unrighteous. And you shall perish among the heathen, and the land of your enemy shall eat you up, and they that are left of you shall pine away in their iniquity in your enemies' lands. And also the iniquities of their fathers shall they pine away with them. Now, in the 40th verse, reads, if they shall confess their iniquity and the iniquity of their fathers with their trespass, which they have trespassed against me, and that also they have walked contrary to me, and that I have walked contrary unto them, and have brought them into the land of their enemies. If then their uncircumcised hearts be humbled, and they then accept of their punishment, of their iniquity, then will I remember my covenant with Yaakov, and also my covenant with Yishak, and also my covenant with Abraham. He said he's going to remember that those covenants that he made with our forefathers. And he will remember, and I will remember the land. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbath while she lies desolate without. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity. Oh Lord, wait a minute. We don't never accept of our punishment because it wasn't me. But you know what I'm saying? But it's always somebody else's fault.
White man's fault.
Always somebody else's fault. I'm responsible for self. Everybody's responsible for self. Hell, even a child is known by their doings from the age of understanding. Let me read this 43rd verse again. The land also shall be left of them, and shall enjoy her Sabbath while she lieth desolate without. And they shall accept of the punishment of their iniquity, because they despise my judgment, and because their soul abhorreth my statutes. And yet for all that, when they be in the land of their enemies, I will not cast them away. Neither will I abhor them to destroy them utterly, and to break my covenant with them, for I am Yah, their Elohim. But I will, for their sakes, remember the covenant of their ancestors, whom I brought forth out of the land of Egypt, in the sight of the heathen, that I might be their Elohim. I am Yah. How many of us acknowledge what we do? How many of us confess it? He already knows. If somebody watch you do something, they seen it with their own eyes. They ain't no illusion. Matter of fact, let's make that someone, that's Yah. We ain't gonna talk about, he see what I do. He see what you do. When y'all talking about this line earlier, line of Yah, it wasn't me, it was him. Yeah, talking about Cain and Abel, wasn't it? It wasn't me. If a man or a woman will lie to themselves, ain't nobody else got nothing coming. And unfortunately, that means the Creator too. Some people lie so much, they get to believe in their own lies. Y'all know that? You know somebody, and you know whenever you see them, they finna come to you with some bull. How many of you know somebody like that? When they come to you, you know they finna tell you some kind of lie. Because they're trying to big themselves up to make themselves look good. But let me ask you, in the sight of the Almighty, is lying making me look good? See, again, we gravitate towards man and thinking that man is going to be the ones who lift us up. There's an old song talking about you ain't got to lie to kick it with me. Now remember that? You ain't got to lie to kick it. Yeah. That being said, now let's go to this umbilical cord. This covenant, if you will, this contract. Somebody tell me what I'm talking about. Oh, y'all learn quick. I love that. Only if we can spread it. That's what we need to do. Because I'll look at it like that thing to give us that nourishing that we need. Now, there's more to it. Besides those 10 commandments that the Almighty wrote on those 2 tables of stone with his finger. There's more to it. But that's a good starting point. Let's go to Exodus 20th chapter. Because again, we're going to talk about faith, y'all willing? Obedience, rebellion, and trust. I think those are 4 things that we are delinquent in. What y'all think? When I say delinquent, and I'm talking about collectively. So I ain't pointing the finger at nobody because I still need work on myself, and I'm gonna be working on myself, y'all willing, to the day that I leave this earth.
Yeah.
Exodus 20. And it starts to read the very first verse. And Elohim spake all these words, saying, I am Yah, your Elohim, which have brought you out of the land of Egypt, out of the house of bondage. You shall have no other gods, no other Elohim, no other powers before me. You shall not make unto thee any graven image or any likeness of anything that is in heaven above, or that is in the earth beneath, or that is in the water under the earth. You shall not bow down yourself to them, nor serve them. For I, Yah, your Elohim, am a jealous Elohim, visiting the iniquity of the father upon the children unto the 3rd and 4th generation of them that hate me. And every single time I read this, whereas let me know that there are people that hate the Almighty God. That stands out to me. Because first of all, it's kind of hard to, well, it ain't hard because I understand that. But when I first read it, it was kind of hard to believe that people literally hate the Almighty Yah. But then I started evaluating, well, how do they hate him? Because I know how we show that we love him, and we show that we love him by what? Keeping his commandments. But what about those who don't even want to hear him, let alone keep him? What about those ones who you try to talk to and they say, we can stop that right now. That's for you. Yo, y'all, he know I got to get this money right now. Now, maybe later on, sometime down the road, I might get with that. I done heard some of everything over the course of time that I've been with the house of Israel and the house of Yehudah. I done heard a lot. But until I heard that, read that, examined it, and just went back and forth with it, I had no clue. I guess that's being naive, huh? That's Israelites. Israelites who go, that they took their name back, or they were born with that name. Who hate the Almighty. You know that? Actions speak louder than words. That old saying, don't go by what I say, go by what I do. So I can tell you anything, but my actions, or in some cases, inactions, says it all. I learned something years ago that I still hold true today. Actions speak louder than words. I can tell you anything. I can tell you anything, but all truth's gonna have to be consistent. Where did I leave off here? We were paying attention to an old man. Where did I leave off at? I know, but sometimes I get carried away. I get to talk. Well, it don't make no difference. Let's just start back here again at verse 3, so we can get to this first commandment. Because I don't want us to miss nothing. We're remedial people. We need to hear things over and over again anyway. You shall have no other gods, no other powers, no other Elohims before me. Now, if we believe that the Almighty wrote these on those tables of stone with his fingers, if we believe this, and we believe it to be true, and we believe this to be the creator of heaven and earth, then where did the Christ of the New Testament come from? And should we be serving the Christ of the New Testament? I'm talking about Israel right now. I ain't even talking about those ones who call themselves Christians. I'm talking about those who claim to be Israel, but serving Christ. As you call them, those two bookers. Go ahead and speak on it.
Let me play the Christian minister. So you got to understand that there was Christ that wrote those laws or those commandments. It was the Son and the Father. You do realize that they are one.
Trinity means three separate but equal powers. So I guess ain't no disagreeing there. When one say it, the other two just automatically agree. We're going to debunk all that. We done debunked it so many times, I'm sure it's going to come back around again. We're going to debunk all of that. But you're right, man, because, you know, I've shown people with a preponderance of evidence, different scriptures, even coming out of the word, out of the mouth of Christ of the New Testament himself. They're saying, look, I'm not the one. Y'all didn't put something on me that's not true. But they don't want to hear it. Habits are hard to break. Whether you have good habits or bad habits, habits are hard to break. So if a person is brought up believing that the Christ of the New Testament is the creator of heaven and earth, if they were brought up to believe that the creator allowed his creation to kill him, it is life, boy. That the creator, what happened when the holy article fallen and he reached out to grab it because he didn't want it to fall? Did he lose his life?
Oh, gone.
And that was just a holy article. That wasn't in the creator. I'm so glad that the Almighty tapped me on the shoulders. And I'm so glad that I was wise enough, even in my foolishness, to acknowledge that tap. Because at this point in my life and well before now, I realize everybody don't get that tap. Everybody don't get that nod of acceptance. Everybody don't get that. It's almost like, I don't know a whole lot about golf, but that green jacket, everybody don't get that. You know what I'm talking about? Everybody don't get that. Some fools don't even get the opportunity I firmly believe that y'all know if we will accept. And I totally believe that he knows when we trying to pull the wool over his eyes. When we trying to perpetrate and act like somebody that we're truly not. I'm a firm believer that he knows. I know I left off at verse 6. I think one of y'all said that before. For mercy to thousands of them that love me and keep my commandments. You shall not take the name of Yah your Elohim in vain. For Yah will not hold them guiltless to take his name in vain. Now, how can we take Yah's name in vain? Somebody just give me an example. Y'all moving slow, I'll give an example. Would this be taking Yah's name in vain by me just telling all kinds of lies while I'm telling people I'm Israel? I belong to Yah. Would this be taking his name in vain if I'm just out being corrupt and vile? You go out the front door, I come in the back window. Am I taking his name in vain? Watch what you say, watch what you do. But when you want to be in line with the Almighty God, that ain't like you got to tiptoe around. We just know what's acceptable and what's unacceptable behavior. You know, I can remember saying something about behaving and talking to adults, and somebody might not understand the concept in which that's meant. You're talking to us like we children. Behaving is behaving. Y'all know that? Behaving is behaving. Like we're only supposed to use that word with children. Some of the adults are the biggest problems. You ever went to a meeting and you got the speaker trying to get everybody to be quiet so that they can start the meeting, but all the people that's at the meeting are wrong? And then we wonder why the children act that way. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall I labor and do all thy work, but the seventh day is the Sabbath of Yah your Elohim. In it you shall not do any work, you, nor your son, nor your daughter, nor your manservant, nor your maidservant, nor your cattle, nor the stranger that is within your gates. For in 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea, and all that in them is, and rested the seventh day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Now this fifth commandment: honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yah thy Elohim giveth you. You know, when I examined this and then I really put it together, that this commandment right here came with a promise. This commandment came with a promise that your days will be long, just honoring your father and your mother. But what fool wouldn't want to honor and have to claim that that individual would have to be a fool? The people that made it possible, the Almighty Yah, the people who made it possible for you to even exist. Why wouldn't we want to honor? That's why I say some parents, they put their children on the same level as them. To say that that's my friend. You can be a friendly parent, but we should never put our children on the same level as us, as parents. Because then you open up a can of worms. You make it, though the child thinks that they're equal.
That's right.
I'll never be equal to my mother or my father. Never. It's a parent's job to raise the child so that they can become responsible adults.
That's right.
But for some reason, it don't work that way all the time. Foolishness is bound in the heart of a child. Sometimes people tend to think that they know more, they know best. I say life is governed by rules.
That's right.
The streets have rules. On your place of employment, they have rules. Hell, even if a person, a Christian, you go into a church, the churches have rules, don't they? Everything the highway got. If we didn't have rules, what we have?
Chaos.
Chaos. Who wants to live in chaos? Who wants to live in chaos? I understand. See, once we start piecing things together, then you can understand why when you had a stubborn and rebellious child, they say, hey, wait a minute, they ain't listening to you. Bring them out. Bring them out. Now take them to the elders, they're going to pass judgment. And then the whole daggone congregation going to watch. What they going to watch? They're going to watch evil being put away. And why is the whole congregation going to watch? Because they know that anybody can be next. The best teacher, again, is example. And you know, I was very foolish when I first started to understanding this, and I say foolishness in my way of thinking. See, I didn't realize that even countries, I believe, still today, do the stoning. But I didn't realize they put you in a hole. They put you in a hole. See, because in my foolishness, I was thinking, you know, if you see something coming, you just trying to dodge and all this old type of stuff. You in this hole, getting bust upside the head. And see, it ain't funny, because when a person see their child, and that child don't have to be just a teenager, that could be a 40-year-old, but still living in that house. You see, that's deep. So we read some things if we want to get a better understanding. Then we got to dig, like you said, we got to dig and do some research. Because in the beginning, for real, I'm thinking, you know, they just got them up there and somebody trying to dodge the stones and things coming. And I'm talking about stones.
Big hard stones.
I ain't talking about no little. You know, I seen something. It was on a video, but it was dealing with some Muslims. Woman had on a skirt or a dress or something that was too short. And family members took part in stoning her and kicking, laying feet and everything on her. We just, I wish we took the Almighty more serious. But that verse, I believe, is Ecclesiastics, 8 and 11, somewhere around there, because punishment isn't executed swiftly. Is that Ecclesiastes 8? Let me see, 8 and 11, let me see something here. I think it's somewhere around there. My memory ain't sharp as yours, man. Oh, yeah, on this one it is, though. I ain't gonna compare a verse for verse, though. But, yeah, in Ecclesiastes 8, chapter 11, verse, it's because sentence against an evil work is not executed speedily. Therefore, the heart of the sons of men is fully set in them to do evil. In other words, well, I've been doing this for a long time. Ain't nothing happened yet. So because ain't nothing happened, what we do, we keep doing the same foolishness. I see you talking about just being a sinner earlier. That's the difference between committing a transgression, committing a sin, and being a sinner. Because a sinner, they wallow in it. Wallow in it. Some of us are sin hoarders. Again, Fifth commandment in verse 12, honor your father and your mother, that your days may be long upon the land which Yahweh Elohim giveth you. Thou shalt not murder, or you shall not murder. I shall not murder. Murder is what?
The shedding of innocent blood.
The shedding of innocent blood. Now, what's the difference between killing and murder? Because, see, some people, when they say you should not kill, they only apply it to man. You know that?
Moses was wrong for killing the Egyptian.
Mm-hmm. And some people, I never read what the Almighty called him a murderer. Never read that one time. But anytime you hear that, thou shalt not kill, they always try to make it look like it's talking about man specifically man. Didn't the Almighty say don't add to his word? Don't take nothing away from his word. He was very clear that there's a difference between killing and murdering. Let's take the abortion clinics that they put in brown and black communities. The abortion clinics. Are they just killing babies or are they murdering babies?
Genocide.
To eliminate you and me. And you still have people out there today. Now, other people just so foolish, they don't realize that there are people out there who want to see you just wiped off the face of the earth. People that they think, yeah, when I say, what do you know about this person? Oh, he deal with computers. That's all you know about? You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. You'd be surprised. Thou shalt not commit adultery. Again, a lot of people, believe it or not, don't know what adultery is. They know it's wrong, but they don't know what it is. If I'm married and I go lay with a woman, and she don't have a husband, because I'm married, is that committing adultery? Is that adultery?
No.
What's adultery?
When a man lays with another man's wife.
What's an adulteress?
Let me get this right. When a woman, no, I'm gonna let somebody else go.
You know the answer. This is easy. You know the answer. You know the answer.
When a woman that's married once lays
Just let it out. You know that. Trust in yourself.
goes and sleeps with a man that's not her husband.
There you go. There you go. All right. You know it because you just gave me the opposite. All you gotta do is just turn it around. Make mental note to yourself, right? Write that down. Yeah, you good. Okay. You should not steal. Let me give you an example. To ask you, is this in fact stealing? If you drop something, you go into your pocket, you pull something out your pocket, but that old folded up 50 that was in your pocket falls out and you don't see it. So as I'm talking to you, I'm moving closer to you, ha ha ha, and laughing. Make sure my foot land on top of it. I got to end the conversation so you can go. When you leave and you're not looking back, and I quickly pick that money up and put it in my pocket, did you just lose it, or in fact, did I steal it?
You stole it.
Why did I steal it? Or how did I steal it?
You stole it because you took something that wasn't yours.
I had the opportunity to make mention that you dropped that. And you're my brother. You see what I'm saying? There's a lot more to it that I'm trying to get about. It ain't even really a lot more to it. See, I can be that's another. See, treachery can be a lot of different things. I can deal with a person violently, that's treachery. I can be lying to them. I can be deceiving. I can be stealing from them. Because if you drop something, I cover it up when I had the opportunity to say, hey, Mom, you dropped this and return it to you. I had a different agenda. You see, I covered it before I took it. And usually before somebody steals, they're going to cover it. I desired to have something that didn't belong to me. And I knew who it belonged to. But I had to make sure that you didn't recognize it. So I was dealing treacherously with you because I wanted something that didn't belong to me. But in the long run, it'll cost me more in the way of blessings than that little $50. Most people probably don't believe that, though. Most people probably don't believe that. They just think, hey, I just got a blessing. I just got a blessing. I heard somebody make a testimony quite some time ago. We ain't seen them in a long time. Say they found some money in the use game. God Almighty just knew I needed that. Just knew I needed that gas money. That's crazy. That's crazy. They walk out the door, you done already put it in your pocket. They come back as soon as they realize they got their change. You the next person that was in line. I just stuff up. Oh, my bad. Even if you took it, give it back. Give it back. They might lie and say, I just put it in my pocket until after I check that, I'll go take it up there and give it to the, what you call it up there? Where you go, what?
Customer service.
Customer service. I was going to turn it into customer service. But I'm here to testify in front of the world on the Sabbath day. When that happened to us, my baby girl tell you, we take it and get the customer service out. They do something wrong with it, that's on them. That's on them.
Let me ask you a question.
Yes, sir.
What if you live next door to you is an abandoned house? Your water is cut off for whatever reason. Your water is off, but you notice the abandoned house right next to you, the water is dripping out from the faucet. Is it okay for you to go and turn it on and get some water for you and your family to drink?
And the house is abandoned. I'm gonna tell you what. Person might think this is wrong, but that water comes from the Creator. This man want to tax every daggone thing. You see what I'm saying? They trying to sell us something. Somebody said, this is for you. You see, if my family needs some water, you know what I'm gonna do? I'm gonna go get us some water. Now, if that's somebody's house and they living in there, and I ain't gonna go steal their water, nothing like that. I might go say, hey, listen, we ain't got no water. I'm hoping you can help us out. And if that's my brother, my sister there, I would hope that they do that so that I can return the favor one day. Whatnot. But if the house abandoned, the water, I'm seeing water, and my family thirsty as heck.
What if they got a no trespassing sign on the fence?
Listen, what did I just say? What did I just say? What did I just say? My wife and my baby, they crying, they thirsty, and I'm looking, baby, I got a fence over there, and they said no trespassing. I'm quite sure that my wife knows that I'm gonna look out for my family. So here we go. Well, I'll leave off at thou shalt not. Okay, still. The 9th commandment in the confines of the 16th verse. Thou shalt not bear false witness, or you shall not bear false witness against your neighbor. If Moray Yoel tell me something that somebody told him, and I go to court to testify against somebody else, and I ain't seen nothing, and hearsay, when you tell a story, by the time it go around, it didn't change. Probably a couple change, twists, turns, it did some flips, it did some everything. And in this country, people have been put to death or locked up over a supposed eyewitness, one witness. Is that in accordance with the Almighty Yah's laws? Matter of fact, let me ask this question right here. How many witnesses should it take to condemn somebody according to the Almighty Yah? Real quick.
2.
Or
3.
I'll just waiting for you to say I'm over. But okay. Okay, I ain't gonna put you on the spot no more, but you're right. Thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's house, thou shalt not covet thy neighbor's wife, nor his manservant, nor his maidservant, nor his ox, nor his ass, nor anything that is your neighbor's. Like I said, before somebody steals something, generally they covet it. When you go to these stores, you get the little 5-finger discounts. Y'all done heard of that before, right? I ain't that old. Y'all ain't heard of that. You laugh because you just as old as I am.
I'm not even so you
Okay.
so funny, bro. Y'all know, I ain't that old.
See, so we have to be cautious not just to take the Almighty Yah's name in vain, because the same one that blesses us is the same one that curses. And even though we're in this captivity and cursed collectively, we can still be blessed individually. A lot of us haven't learned how to count our blessings yet, and we have truly, truly been blessed beyond measure. A lot of us think God blesses that we just didn't deserve. And if we're honest with ourselves, based on our actions or inactions, we know that already. We know it. I'm telling you, sometimes when you go to thinking about it, if your eyes don't well up, something wrong. Especially when you're older and you realize, oh man. Ooh. Let's go to Psalms 19. It's so crucial. Well, I'm going at least, what, 6:15 or something? Just to make up that time that you got. All right, because I ain't even gotten to no lesson yet. This is just little notes. But it's gonna get better. It's gonna get better. So as I start moving on, I start talking fast. Y'all don't be listening slow, all right? All right. All right. Psalms 19. Yeah, God is so merciful to us. Starting at the 7th verse. I just felt compelled to read this. At the 7th verse. It said, the law of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yah is sure, making wise the simple. Let me use myself for example. I may have been simple when it comes to some of the ways of Yah, but those things that I've learned have made me wiser, and in that wisdom made me want to get some things right, so some changes had to be made. And for me, it feels good. It feels good. Now, do I have more work to go? Absolutely. Absolutely. Will I be working, trying to be right for the rest of my life? I hope so. And I hope that's a long life. You give me a long time. But when a person gets older and then they throw away that righteous walk because they get envious or just tired, then they start doing that which is wicked. All them years of so-called righteousness with the Almighty. If I die in my wickedness, y'all know that righteousness won't even be mentioned. That's enough for me to make me want to stay on point, to get better. When you know you got more to lose. Like Moray Dan used to say, a person to give up all their righteousness for a few minutes of pleasure. When you take it to heart, it makes you when you seriously consider what he's saying. It makes a difference to some of us. It makes a difference. Because sometimes those few moments of pleasure get somebody so caught up that they lose sight of what the big picture is. But if you cut short the big picture, it fades away. It ain't gonna be there no more anyway. Sort of like that old dog that got that bone in his mouth and he go looking over the water. And he see another dog with that bone, but he want that bone too. Soon as he open up his mouth, he loses his. The law of Yah is perfect, converting the soul. The testimony of Yah is sure, making wise the simple. The statutes of Yah are right, rejoicing the heart. The commandment of Yah is pure, enlightening the eyes. The fear of Yah is clean, enduring forever. The judgments of Yah are true and righteous altogether. More to be desired are they than gold, yea, than much fine gold. Sweeter than honey and the honeycomb. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. Wait a minute. We were talking earlier about keeping Yah's laws and the reward, and even suggesting the truth that even the wicked gonna get their reward too. But I don't think that's the reward that we want. Moreover, by them is thy servant warned, and in keeping of them there is great reward. Who can understand his errors? Cleanse thou me from secret faults. Keep back thy servant also from presumptuous sins. What's a presumptuous sin?
One that you know better, but you decide to say it anyways.
So when we commit presumptuous sins, at that particular time, pretty much what we're saying is, wait a minute, I know what I'm doing, and even though I'm breaking the law, that's not important to me right now. So what if we pass in that moment to where the law is not important to us right now? That's deep, ain't it? See, a person can just change, strive for their righteousness, but then get weak for a moment, for whatever that reason is. Get weak. Keep back thy servants also from presumptuous sins. Let them not have dominion over me. Then shall I be upright, and I shall be innocent from the great transgression. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in thy sight, O Yah, my strength and my redeemer. This is so great because I would like to think that it would make one consider this verse right here. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, God. Now, is everything that we put acceptable in your sight? Say a person is proud-hearted. But we know when a person carries pride, they're going to act foolishly. Right? When a person is rebellious, that's the reason they're rebellious. They'll act foolishly. If I'm not 100%, that means I've got a kink in my armor. Those that are listening to me, if you're not 100%, that means you also have a kink in your armor. Let the words of my mouth and the meditation of my heart be acceptable in your sight, O Yah, my strength and my redeemer. If it wasn't for Yah, my physical and mental strength, I don't believe it would be nowhere near where it is now, because I have a motivation. I have a desire, and I'm trying to be disciplined. Trying. But it's a work. It's a 24/7 practice. Everybody ain't willing to put that work in. If you're listening to me, you have to check yourself. Are you willing to put the work in? He said, Yah was his strength. The psalmist said, David said, Yah was his strength and his redeemer. But all of us don't know. Let's go to Isaiah, the first chapter.
Uh-oh.
Let's go to Isaiah, the first chapter. All of us don't know. You already know where I'm going, don't you? That third verse. Isaiah 1 and 3. He reads, the ox knoweth his owner, and the ass his master's crib. But Israel doeth not know. My people doeth not consider. Let us know we don't even consider. We don't even consider. Most of us don't know because we turn our back. We turn our ear. It's not something pleasant for some of us. Some of us don't know how to value ourselves. We don't know what our self-worth is. Some of us despise the Sabbath day instead of acknowledging that it's a beautiful opportunity just to be able to indulge in it. Man, that's deep. Yes, sir.
You know, you read that, of course, the current events was going on around the nation, dealing with the mass shootings that's occurring. And it's, you know, it's every night on the news. It's a shooting. It's a shooting somewhere. 3 or 4 people shot. 4 and 5 people shot. Right here in the city, people, I mean, dying, young, dying. But the thing, when people say, well, what's the solution? What's the answer to it? It's the same thing. What we need to elect either more politicians, we need to pass some laws, but in nothing, you would never hear the law of Yah. You won't hear the Most High period coming into the equation as the answer.
You're absolutely right. And even by this mass statistics, you know, a mass shooting is considered to be where you have 1 or more up to about 4 people being shot and or injured at that time. And according to their statistics, a lot of these numbers that they've been given, because these bags up under my eyes didn't just get there just by happenstance. I've been doing a lot of research on things. Now, there are shootings, okay? But the number of casualties and things are not what they say. They say there's an epidemic, okay? That's not the case. They say out of all the civilized countries, we're right at the top. No, we on down the line and everything. They say that the so-called AR-15, and you know, that's a weapon of war. I'm here to tell you, any person that go to war with an AR-15, they got gypped. They got gypped, and I'm gonna tell you, and I ain't fearful the politicians lying to you. It's a semi-automatic rifle. See, this whole thing is about people control, not gun control. It's about people controlling you. More people die. You talked about it earlier today. From knives.
Yep.
More people are killed more from hands and feet. Okay? And see, out of all the rifles, not just AR-15s, it's less than people getting killed with knives or being bludgeoned to death or hands and feet. And see, here's what they like to do. They like to say it's gun violence. Well, what about the people who get hit with hammers?
That's right.
What about the people who use cars? You see, a lot of those deaths include suicides. They got people all locked up in their houses and everything, talking about this coronavirus and depression set in and all kinds of. I'm just gonna tell it like it is. A lot of deaths come from suicide. And check this out: if a person want to do harm to themselves or anybody else, then they're gonna find a way to do it.
Yep.
They're gonna find a way.
Yep.
Period.
Yep.
But see, the thing is, when old Ronald Reagan was president, he said the 9 most feared words you should hear is when somebody say, "I'm from the government and I'm here to help." That's because they don't realize that the government, they come up with the scenario, they put it out there to the people, wait on the people to call on the government to fix the problem. But the government say, okay, we'll fix the problem, but now You're going to have to give up some of your rights. It's about people control. Controlling people. They want to control every facet of your life. Every facet of it. Let's go to Proverbs 3. All right, we're getting to the point where I'm gonna start picking up my pace here, Shirley. Proverbs 3. Let's look at verses 1 and 2. Now we went over those commandments that I call the umbilical cord. To give us, some of I don't want to minimize it by calling them basic. But some of the things that we know. Let's put it that way. It reads, my son, forget not my law, but let your heart keep my commandments. Let them stay right here. This thing here pumping blood. This is where we retain everything. Keep it in mind. Forget not my law, but let thine heart keep my commandment for length of days and long life and peace. You spoke about peace earlier. See, keeping that in mind, it'll have you running from trouble versus running to trouble. Now, when I say running, I'm not suggesting anybody being a coward. In other words, you know what? I don't even need to go that way. I'm going to do what I know to be best. Let me go this way. Oh, hell, that's just like you see this road over here, got everybody on this road. It's just packed, it's overflowing. But that road over there, man, it ain't but a few on there. Most people want to be with a crowd there. You know that? Most people want to be with a crowd there. But a wise person going to say, you know what? I think I want to go this way. For length of days and long life and peace shall they add to you. Keeping those commandments. So how do we allow other people to put in our ear that, man, you can't keep those commandments? Man, those things are done away with. But as soon as you hit on their wife or their girlfriend, they got a problem. As soon as you steal something from them, they got a problem. See? We can't have it both ways. While we're in Proverbs 3, let's look at the 11th and 12th verse. My son, despise not the chastening of Yah, neither be weary of his correction. For whom Yah loveth, he correcteth, even as a father, the son in whom he delighteth. A lot of us, we get fearful of the correction. But I suggest this, when he don't correct us, that's when we should worry. When we tend to think that we're getting away with this and we're getting away with that, that's when we should worry. If we're so vile and we're not getting corrected, that's when we should worry. Now, I know to some people, that don't make no sense what I just said. Not for real. That's reading every time there's something that's happened to me. First thing I got to do is I got to check myself. Ask myself, honestly, what did I do or what is it that I should have been doing that I didn't do that this didn't come down on me? And I'm quite sure the answer's right there. Because when we examine ourselves, if we're honest, we know. We know. That's the reason some of us fearful and want to correct ourselves real quick. I'd rather correct myself than have to be corrected. But rather than have to correct myself before that, I'd rather not put myself in that situation.
All right.
And we all in control of our own spirit. And when we allow somebody else to control our spirit, something wrong with us. Now we're getting ready to get into some things here. Turn with me, if you will. But before that, let's go to Proverbs 8. In the 11th verse, it reads, for wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that can be desired are not to be compared to it. In other words, what's better than wisdom? If you ask the average person, would you rather have this $1 million or would you rather have all the wisdom that you can entertain, all the wisdom that you can have. You know, I'm under the impression that most people are gonna say, you know what? Give me that million. What y'all think? Most people gonna say, give me that million. I bet you if we took 50 Israelites, just 50, and I asked 50 Israelites, would you rather have this and got that $1 million guy? We got $50 million cash right there. Say, would you rather have this stack here? We just stack all that up, just choose one. Wisdom, we're gonna make sure you get an infinite amount of wisdom. It ain't gonna never stop. Over here, you got that $1 million. All you gotta do is just pick one. That's it. We just sit there and watch them stacks just go. The wisdom box just be just there. Ain't no sit. Ain't nobody taking that. You mean I just pick one? That's it. Ain't no questions asked. No questions asked. Now I'm thinking that's your judge up there. We watch all that money go. We'll watch it all go. We have people whispering, "Well, if you don't take that money, you're a fool." Yeah. That's deep, baby. For wisdom is better than rubies and all the things that can be desired. I desire to hit the lotto. I desire, ain't nobody in here desire to hit the lotto when it's real big. I said if I hit, it's gonna be a lot of rich people.
They ain't gotta give me all thing, just give me a little bit.
Wisdom is better than rubies, and all the things that can be desired are not to be compared to wisdom. Just think, all the wisdom that you have right now pertaining to the Almighty Yah. Just all the wisdom that you've acquired up until this day. If somebody was saying, I'm going to give you $1 million to have all that wisdom, in other words, they're going to take it from your brain. In other words, once you make that transaction with the devil, all that you knew, it's gone. It's gone. For that $1 million, what would you rather have? Your wisdom? Tell the truth here on the Sabbath day. I know you will. Would you rather have that wisdom, or would you rather have that $1 million cash?
Wisdom all day long. Because I go through money real quick.
Oh, you gotta pay tax on that money now. They ain't saying.
That may be gone anyway.
Bro, yeah. As soon as you pay tax, you got about $750,000. You ain't no millionaire no more. You just 1,000 there.
Wisdom you can have forever.
Wisdom you can pass on. You can pass on that wisdom. That's just like your father knew certain things, everything. I'm sure he passed some of that on. So that's gonna keep going. Then hopefully the people that it got passed on to, they pass it on. And they get passed on. But how many times can you pass on that $1 million? Once it leave the community, in other words, once it leave your hands and you in the community, it ain't getting spent in the community, it getting spent outside the community, it ain't coming back. I'd have to say right now, I'd absolutely be a fool. Not that I'm so wise, but the wisdom that I have, oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. I would feel like I'm being a traitor to the one who gave me the wisdom in the first place. Because the same one who can give me that wisdom is the same one who can take it away and bless me with some money or this, that, and the other. The same one that blesses us, guess what? It's the same one that curses. Ain't no such thing as good luck. Man, I got lucky. Man, you got lucky. You got that $1 million, you got lucky. How many of us still believe in luck? You believe in luck? Who believe in luck in here? I sure don't. Happens to us all. Happens to us all. Now, let's go to Proverbs 30. I'm gonna ask the question. Because everybody don't believe this. Proverbs 30, the 5th and the 6th verse reads, every word of Yah is pure. He is a shield unto them that put their trust in him. Add thou not unto his words, lest he reprove thee, and thou be found a liar. How many of us believe that every word of Yah is pure? Because we can't have it both ways. We can't have it both ways because some people say, I believe his word is pure, but. Tell me one verse. I know you know these scriptures inside, outside, backwards. You know some the Hebrew, the original Hebrew. I haven't found a place in there as of yet where the Almighty even ever mentioned the name of the Christ in the New Testament. So maybe you know that spot because I don't know it. I don't know it.
Don't exist.
Maybe that's why I never found it. So why is it that people keep saying that, but, and then they want to interject Christ? Because obviously they know more than the Almighty. This is deep. See, all we got to do is just check ourselves with these little basic questions. Proverbs 28 and 26. He that trusts in his own heart is a fool, but whoso walketh wisely, he shall be delivered. Most of us tend to want to trust in what we was taught by somebody else, and we want to hold on to that because that was our basis, and we don't want to give up something that we got from somebody that we hold dear and near to us for whatever reason. So when we get a truth that we've discovered and we realize that it's not what we were originally taught, we want to hold on to what we was taught, even though now it's not making good sense. I always thought that when we learn better, then we do better. Or do it still hold true that we just the people that don't consider? Well, I don't consider giving the Almighty the benefit of the doubt. I don't consider that I'm putting this man before the Almighty's ways. Because this is just the way I was taught. We were taught a lot of things that weren't true. When you were little, did you go Easter egg hunting? Were you told that the little rabbit laid them eggs? You ever seen a rabbit lay an egg? Me neither. Do you ever live in a house that had a chimney?
Coming to the ghetto.
Yeah.
Coming down.
Made it all the way around the world. And that soup was still red and white. Didn't have no chimney soot or nothing on it. See, a lot of things that we thought we knew, as we got older, we realized that those were lies. We lose a tooth and put it up under the pillow. Then next thing you know, we got $1 up under there. And we believed that the tooth fairy came and took my little raggedy tooth and paid me for it. And then we wonder why our children lie to us. And we get upset. Could it be because we kept lying to them? So if we was honest and say, baby, where you learn all these lies? How would we feel if they say, well, I learned it from you, Abba. I learned it from you, Amy. That the Almighty say it's okay to tell a little lie. Because that's what they say, it's for the children. So it's okay for us to lie to our children, but it's not okay for our children to lie to us. We don't ever consider that, do we? Let me skip down here with all these people in here. Let's go to Exodus 20. Really going through the verse here. Time sure do go fast when you're having fun, though.
Always.
Check this out. Since all these people here right now. In the 8th verse, it starts to read. Remember the Sabbath day to keep it holy. 6 days shall thy labor do all thy work, but the 7th day is the Sabbath of Yah your Elohim. In it thou shalt not do any work, thou nor thy son, nor the daughter, nor the manservant, nor the cattle, nor the stranger that is within your gates. For 6 days Yah made heaven and earth, the sea and all them is, and rested the Sabbath day. Wherefore Yah blessed the Sabbath day and hallowed it. Got a question. Can we keep the Sabbath at home? Can we keep the Sabbath day at home? If we say, you know what, this is supposed to be a day of rest. When we talk about that day of rest, are we talking about slumbering? Or are we talking about resting from our work? What exactly are we talking about?
Ceasing from doing work.
So if we're supposed to have a holy convocation, meaning a holy gathering, a public meeting, then it would seem like those that call themselves Israel would be in those places of worship, especially if they had a place that was where they were dealing with Yah and not so-called Christ of the New Testament. Because I'm not going to tell somebody or encourage somebody to go to a place to where they are only dealing with the Christ of the New Testament. But it would appear that if we were sincere, if we had a place to go in our respective cities or where we at, then we would go because it's a public meeting. Now, don't get me wrong, I appreciate anybody by way of the internet who participate in joining in because they're learning. But if we have an opportunity to be at one of these facilities, you know, because here's the thing, I can think I'm righteous altogether and be dead wrong. Keyword being dead. Dead wrong. But I guarantee you, these places tomorrow, and in our community, we got churches, seem like on every block. Churches and liquor stores. Right? Churches and liquor stores. Now, why is that? A lot of churches are nonprofit organizations, aren't they? You know where that money go? Right down to Sankeyville. Sank right down to the bottom of that pocket. Then those pastors go to speaking all those smooth things because you don't have to have any accountability. The only thing you have to be accountable for is making sure you bring some tithe money.
10%.
But then if you ask, oh, Rev, can you show me where this is money? That's probably one of the reasons old Rev then took that attribute that belonged to the Almighty. Now you got Pastor Jenkins, Pastor Jones, Pastor this, Pastor that. But ask him to qualify that you're supposed to be bringing money. What we gonna find when that question get asked?
0.
So all those people say, you know what? I'm gonna give more than a tenth. I'm gonna give. I'm on fixed income, but I know the church needed more than I do, so I'm gonna give half of my pay. You know, you get some elderly people, they be making life decisions whether to buy food or medicine. Food or medicine. Y'all think I'm joking? Ain't got no pets, but might buy some cat food or something like that. Because they've been so overtaken with them sermons that they get For real. First Chronicles. 16. Let's start reading at the 8th verse. First Chronicles 16, verse 8 starts to read, give thanks unto Yah, call upon his name, make known his deeds among the people. Sing unto him, sing psalms unto him. Talk ye of all his wondrous works. Glory ye in his holy name. Let the heart of them rejoice that seeketh Yah. Seek Yah and his strength. Seek his face continually. Remember his marvelous works that he has done, his wonders, and the judgments of his mouth. O ye seed of Israel, his servant, ye children of Yaakov, his chosen ones. He is Yah, our Elohim. His judgments are in all the earth. Be ye mindful always of his covenant, the word which he commanded to 1,000 generations, even of the covenant which he made with Abraham, and of his oath to Isaac, and has confirmed the same to Yaakov for a law, and to Israel for an everlasting covenant. That covenant for how long?
1,000 generations.
Everlasting? So wait a minute, how come, wait a minute. You know, when I read things like if he'd have went to any other people on planet Earth, scripture reads, surely they would have hearkened. But his focus point, the apple of his eye, his battle axe, his world without end, his wife, want to deal with him treacherously. And then we cry about the hell that we catching here in this land. And we ain't considering Yah, and we always looking for this man to fix everything. You know why? Because we haven't accepted of our punishment. We act like we're not guilty of anything. We'll say that was our forefathers, those that will say anything. That was our forefathers. But that was them and us here today. And we don't even want to acknowledge that we done did far worse than them. Far worse. Are we obedient? If we were obedient, we'd be keeping the law, wouldn't we? Now here's my question. Are we rebellious?
Master that.
We master rebellion. We master it. And we're not even actors. If we went to go do a movie script just being rebellion, we don't have to get no training for it.
It's called the rebellion.
Because we're rebellious. And we're cutting our own time short. Because we don't trust that Yah is one of his word. I said I had some definitions. Let me get these definitions. Because, see, I know I could be up here for at least another couple of hours, but we don't have that time. So write down these definitions, record them, do whatever you need, but get them. Righteousness is the quality of being morally right or justified. Morally right. When it comes to the law, hey, just be morally right. Justified. We can't say, well, he did this, so I did that. I'm justified. It don't work that way. Guile. Some of us are just guile. Cunning or artful deception. It's deceptiveness, deceit, fraud, duplicity, dishonesty. You're talking about God. It has a negative connotation. It refers to the kind of knowledge and the kind of skill that can be used by comic book villains. Of course, for evil and not for good. Y'all done seen some of these comic book villains? Some of us acting like God. Definition of faith. If I'm talking too fast, slow me down. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the connecting power into the spiritual realm, which links us with Elohim and makes him become a tangible reality to the sense of perceptions of a person.
Can you repeat the last definition?
Faith?
Yeah, just the last sentence.
I'll read the whole thing. I'll read it a little slower. Faith is the substance of things hoped for, the evidence of things not seen. Faith is the connecting power into the spiritual realm, which links us with Elohim and makes him become a tangible reality to the sense perceptions of a person. We all know what obedience is, but just in case we don't, we give a definition of it too. In simple terms, obedience is compliance with an order, a request, a law, or submission to another's authority. In this particular case, the authority is Yah. We want to be obedient to our Creator. Then I got something for rebellion. Because, of course, this is about faith, obedience, rebellion, and trust. Rebellion is an act of violent or open resistance to an established government or a ruler. In this case, we're talking about a ruler. And that ruler is who?
Yeah.
Then we've asked that question all the time. How many of us trust in Yah? Right? Everybody's hands go up and everything. So let's give a definition of trust. It's a firm belief in the reliability, the truth, the ability or strength of someone or something. Who's the all-powerful? The all-powerful. Who's that?
Yeah.
What's the one thing that Yah can't do? That's one thing he can't do. What is it? It's an easy one. He can't fail. Y'all just see that one come get you. He can't fail. Man, we can fail all the time. Matter of fact, anything man put their hand to is in a position to fail. Think about what I'm saying. Got them Teslas, them self-driving cars.
Oh my goodness.
Read the accidents on them. People sleep behind the wheel. This guy don't self-drive.
Mm-hmm. That was on the news this week.
We lost our minds. We're trusting this man, but won't trust in Yah.
Right.
Who in their right daggone mind gonna get behind the wheel, let the seat back, and just go on to sleep? And trust that this car just gonna do what it's supposed to do according to this man.
Mm-hmm. Oh, passion this week. Oh.
Contrite. Let me give you a definition of contrite. Because some of us don't know that. I had to put all the work in to go search the matter out myself so I can pass it on. Some of us, even regardless of what we do, don't have that contrite spirit, right? A feeling or expressing remorse or penitence affected by guilt. I found out, oh man. And then you just say, oh well, what? I'm gonna break it down to the smallest thing. What's a transgression? Let me give you the definition of a transgression too. It's an act that goes against a law, or rule, or a code of conduct. It's an offense, and we're talking about transgressing against the Almighty Yah. We do something that goes against the law. It goes against that rule. It goes against the conduct that we should display. It's an offense. Now that's a transgression, not to transgress. It's an infringe, or it's to infringe or go beyond the bounds of moral principle or an established standard of behavior. The Almighty's already established a code that we should go by. The rule of law, so to speak. You know, when this man be talking about the rule of law, and then we find ourselves in a situation where we're going on down to the courthouse, we'd be more fearful than fearing Yah. Do you hear what I'm saying? You don't fear this man more so than the Creator. Is it because we can't see Yah? But we can see this man when we go down to the courthouse. And this man gonna sentence us. But Yah shows us mercy. But we also know that this man's tenderest mercies is what? Cruel. He do something, he say he was being nice. He do something, he was being generous. I do believe that this is going to be one of those lessons to be continued whenever Yah wants it to be continued, because this is something that we can talk about for a long, long time. But I'm about ready to wrap it up because my time is coming to a close. Are there any quick questions or comments pertaining to anything that came out of my mouth here dealing with this lesson? You got about 1 minute for questions and answers, period, all together. Yes, sir.
I don't have one pertaining to your lesson necessarily, but I do have a question. And it's what is the great transgression?
Well, I prefer the person who taught that. Did I miss something? Did you teach that? Let's see. What I don't want to do is get it because we do have a time. So for the next 30 to 60 seconds, you can answer that if you like.
The great transgression is disobedience. Period. No ifs, ands, or buts about it. Y'all told had Samuel told Saul rebellion is as the sin of witchcraft. So rebellion, period, is the great transgression.
See, here's the thing. What we don't realize, some of us anyway, is we don't realize that even those things that we do in the dark, when we look to the left and look to the right and don't see nobody looking, you know who we discount? We discount the one that counts the most.
Yeah.
I don't care if we're in pitch black darkness. Don't think we're not going to be seen. We just need to get our act together in earnest, in sincerity, and a lot of people are faking the funk. It's simple as that. A lot of people faking the funk. Let's go ahead and stand so we can adjourn. And I do appreciate everybody who tuned in with us here at the House of Yehudah. Thank you very much. Heavenly Father, Yah, our Elohim, we give thanks and praises unto you and to your holy name for the day, for the night, and for the abundance of all things. Thank you, Yah, for your tender mercies and your loving kindness. Thank you for keeping Israel as the apple of your eye, Heavenly Father, Yah. Thank you for the food and drink that you've blessed us with daily and nightly. And Yah, thank you for being the forgiver of sins and iniquities. We pray, Heavenly Father, Yah, that you may forgive us for our transgressions. Forgive us, Yah, wash us clean of them and remember them no more. We pray, Yah, that you may bless us and keep us, that you may make your face to shine upon us and be gracious unto us. Yah, lift up your countenance upon us and give us peace. Hallelujah.
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 Praise the mighty Yah. Yahweh is righteous and Yahweh is merciful. Praise his holy name. Hallelujah.
Hallelujah.